Hey Hylians! One of, if not the biggest questions to come out of the newest trailer for Tears of the Kingdom is simply, who is this? With only a handful of images shown to us of them, it's still safe to say that interest has peaked for most of us about who or what this mysterious character is. We don't know if they'll be in the game physically, a character that we can meet, interact with and talk to. Or if they'll just be a mysterious character only seen within paintings and other artwork in the game. We don't even know if they'll be good or evil. But questions lead to theories. And today I want to go over some of the theories and ideas that I've had for this mysterious character. Who could they be, their role in the game, and what it could mean for the game's story. All over Hyrule are statues dedicated to the goddess Hylia. These statues were first seen in Skyward Sword, and as that game took place at the very start of the timeline, we can see that all the way to the current time where Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are set, hundreds of thousands of years after Skyward Sword, the depiction of the goddess has stayed the same. Through that time, the Hylians have continued to create more statues to honour the goddess. And slowly, more tribes like the Rito, Gorons, Gerudo and Zora would also incorporate statues of the goddess Hylia into their towns as a sign of respect. And so, with all of that, why am I so certain that this character is Hylia? From the first moments I saw them, I believed them to be some divine character, some kind of god, and as we saw more, I believed that god to be Hylia. We see this figure resting on a platform that floats within the sky, above the mountains, up in the clouds as rays of light shine around them. A god looking down, watching the land below. But the big thing that pushed me to think that this was Hylia was the image of them holding hands with a young girl, who we can assume is supposed to be Princess Zelda. We can see part of this image early in the trailer, and the full thing is hiding behind the logo at the end. But you can still make out that it is the same creature and the same girl. The two lock hands together in a circle, which feels very significant. It could be easier to make them simply touch palm to palm, but there is a deliberate circle formed between them. And if you know anything about the goddess Hylia and Princess Zelda, you can probably guess what this is pointing towards. Zelda is the reincarnation of the goddess Hylia. Born into a mortal body after a great war against the Demon King demise centuries ago. She's continued to be reborn time and time again, always set with the same duties. I believe this circle created by their hands is to represent the connection between them and the never-ending reincarnation. It's also important to point out that the logo for Tears of the Kingdom is the Ouroboros symbol, which itself means infinity. Though in this logo there are two dragons instead of the more common one, both forever consuming the other, both princess and goddess, forever bound to one another, forever one in the same person. But I'm sure you're still wondering how this depiction we have seen within multiple games now, and what has seemingly been used all this time in Hyrule since the time of Skyward Sword, could suddenly shift and now look so different. Well, I don't believe this was created by Hylians. It's pretty easy to see now that the Zonai tribe have a large part to play within Tears of the Kingdom. The underground cave Ganondorf was sealed within, the Sky Islands, they're all covered with their architecture. And I believe that these carvings have also been left by them. There's still a lot to know about the Zonai tribe. But I believe that this group may have depicted things that we know well from the series in their own unique ways. For example, the Triforce. Within Breath of the Wild we find statues of a boar, a dragon and an owl. These animals seem to represent each part of the Triforce: power, wisdom and courage. The boar, because of Ganon's connection to the Triforce of power. The owl to wisdom, because owls have been seen a lot in the series as helpers or teachers, and also seem to have a connection with the royal family. And while the dragon doesn't seem to have a direct connection to Link, we see dragons throughout the series as strong, noble creatures, often with a strong loyalty to the goddesses. Link obviously has a strong connection with Zelda, the reincarnation of the goddess Hylia, and a strong sense of courage and justice. If the Zonai tribe represented the Triforce in such a unique and different way to the rest of the tribes of Hyrule, then I certainly wouldn't put it past them in seeing the goddesses of the land in such a different way too. And if so, maybe we could see the other goddesses of Hyrule, Nehru, Din and Ferori, depicted in such a way. Another idea could be that the Zonai tribe see Hylia in such a different way because they don't see her as the beautiful goddess like the Hylians. As we play the game through the eyes of Hylians, our views of the world are framed by them, meaning we see the goddesses as good, and also people like the royal family. But it isn't hard to see that at points in time, the Hylian royal family has done some horrible things. It could be that the goddesses of Hyrule were not exactly how we've been told they were. Now, I don't expect them to secretly be demons like Demise, but it could be interesting if another group had opposing views on them, as even someone like Ganondorf doesn't seem to outright despise the goddesses, due to them creating the thing that he desires most, the Triforce, and at times, they've even seemed to help him. One idea that came to mind that could maybe lead this group into seeing Hylia in such a different way is her reincarnation. The Triforce was made by the gods in such a way so that gods could not actually use its power. When Hylia gave up her divinity to be reborn as Zelda, maybe when the group found out about this, they didn't think it was right. Perhaps they thought the goddess was using the princess over and over for centuries as a way to stay within Hyrule while holding such great power. But something that might be just as interesting as the group seeing Hylia in a different way to Hylians is if this creature is actually how Hylia looks. Again, we obviously have the goddess statues that are littered all around Hyrule, and they have existed for centuries. But did the ones who even made the original one in Skyloft ever physically see Hylia? Was she ever an actual physical presence in what would become Hyrule, and not just a god watching down and protecting the people before Demise's attack? I feel it would be a very cool surprise if it turned out that Hylia was not just a beautiful woman dressed in a white dress with a resemblance to Zelda, but instead a towering, powerful, but still beautiful creature. In my opinion, it would be far more interesting than just a woman, and so I would certainly be down for it. Now, these stone carvings have clearly been here for a very long time, maybe tens of thousands of years, even before the time of Calamity Ganon. So obviously in that time there would be many princesses of Hyrule, many reincarnations of the goddess Hylia. But I feel that these images have been leading up to our Zelda, our princess who held the Calamity back for 100 years. I get the feeling that at some point, maybe early into the game, Zelda and maybe also Link come across these old carvings. They tell the story of the goddess Hylia, her fight with Demise, her sending the Hylians into the sky on what would become Skyloft, and eventually her sacrificing her immortal body to become reborn as Zelda. To push this home even more that it's all been leading up to her, we could get carvings showing moments from other past games, where we could see depictions of Zelda from games like Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess. There could be all of this information that she's suddenly seeing, all of these depictions of past princesses from all timelines and their roles within their stories. But something happens to make Zelda uncomfortable with her role, and so she tries to find a way to break free from it. Maybe she tries to find a way to break the cycle that she's now seen that's been going on for generations. And this leads to her first step, cutting her hair, so it's now short, unlike the depiction of her in the carvings that show her with long hair. A small change that she hopes could maybe help towards stopping the cycle she may no longer wish to be a part of. And when it comes to Hylia in terms of story, I thought back to Link's hand. We know at some point it will be infused with the glowing green light, and the green light hand that we've seen in the first trailer. There have been many questions over what this hand could be, but it could be that the hand belongs to this creature, and if so, could be a remnant of Hylia herself. Essentially, Link would have a small amount of Hylia's power within that arm, that we could maybe power up through the game using whatever MacGuffins we're on the hunt for. And a little detail that I thought could be pretty cool is if this spirit of Hylia, or remnant of Hylia, was able to talk to Link in his mind and act as some kind of partner character. Now I know not everyone's a fan of partner characters, but I quite enjoy them and really missed having one in Breath of the Wild. So it'd be pretty cool to bring them back with the goddess Hylia being one herself. The hand may have no connection whatsoever to Hylia. The figure may not be Hylia. But I think these ideas still could work in ways, and it would be very interesting to see them come to life within Tears of the Kingdom. But no matter what, I am very excited to see these mysteries finally revealed to us when the game comes out next year. And so those are my thoughts on this mysterious new character. There are other characters it could possibly be, and it could just be a brand new character. But I think Hylia is a pretty good guess, and I do think the idea of having her appear or have a big part of this story would be pretty cool. I've had fun writing this script, and I have to say it's super nice to have the motivation to make video scripts like this again. It's been quite a while since I've been on such a roll, I feel, so it's a really nice change. Thank you for watching all the way to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, please give the video a like, as it's the best way to show me that you are indeed enjoying the content I create. A lot of questions and ideas were thrown around today, so do make sure to tell me your thoughts on my theories along with telling me your own on who you think this character could be down in the comments below. And finally, if you're new around my channel, welcome! Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload from me. I post almost exclusively Legend of Zelda content of all types, so if you're a Zelda fan, I'm sure you'll enjoy it here. Thank you all again for watching today's video. I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!